As Hattie said, it is going to be bitterly cold.
Yeah, those wind chills will take a dive. As she said, they'll be with us for quite a while. Mary Jo is at the Wisconsin Emergency Management Center for more on how to stay safe in this cold.
Good morning, Robin Charlotte. We're here at the Emergency Operations Center, one of the rooms where that gets activated when we see some extreme weather in our state. Luckily, it's not activated this morning, but with us here is Todd Pritchett with the Wisconsin Emergency Operations.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Oh, I'm great.
At least we're warm inside.
I know. I thought this through before we set it up.
That was smart of you. Yeah. Obviously, when we start getting into these kind of wind chills, 15, 20 below zero, that's when you're really getting into that danger zone. So it's just great to remind folks, frostbite and hypothermia are your two biggest, risks right now. Frostbite, you could, fingertips, tips of your nose, your ear can freeze off, literally freeze. That skin starts to freeze. So, make sure you're well protected, wearing the right kind of clothes. And hypothermia, right? Your body temperature drops to 95 degrees. Your mom was right. Wear a hat. It's not a fashion statement. It's going to look ugly maybe, but get a hat on. Keep that body heat inside.
Definitely, and stay safe. And Ted, the cold isn't anything new to Wisconsin, right. But what is unusual about the forecast that we're seeing for today and this week?
Yeah, it is not unusual. We're all hardy folks, but it's so early in the season, right? We usually see these temperatures in January, February. In fact, the last time we saw this kind of dangerous wind chill was back in the early February of this year. So right now, the jet stream is dipping down so low, it's just creating that Arctic blast, that freight train of air coming from the Arctic right toward us. And that looks like it's going to continue. There's really no sign of that stopping. So we're really going to be in this deep freeze at least through Thursday, and even, we might get a little bit of a break, but there's no sense that we're going to have any kind of warm up soon. So I think this is time for everyone to get prepared for this kind of weather.
And then speaking of that, Todd, real quickly, if you wouldn't mind showing us some of the things. I mean, these are common sense things.
It is kind of
but what should we need? What do we need to pack?
Well, what I always try to tell folks is, have an emergency kit in your car, because you never know when you're going to get into a situation where you may just have to get into survival mode. You may have to wait for help to arrive. So having like an extra pair of boots in the car. I'm always one that I always run out the door just with my dress shoes, right? So, having some boots in case you really have to, get those things on.
And obviously the warm layers that we're going to have to check back in our next hit coming up at 6 o'clock. But Todd Pritchett, thank you for being with us this morning.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, for sure. And then a few quick health reminders from Meredith Health Services. With this cold weather coming, you'll want to make sure that you don't try to stay outside too long. And obviously, as Todd said, dress warmly, dress in those layers. Check on babies and elderly. Make sure that they're safe and they have everything that they need to stay warm during this weather. And also, if you see those signs of hypothermia or frostbite, like confusion, shortness of breath, passing out, those are times when you definitely want to reach out and seek medical attention. So a lot to keep in mind these next couple days. Robin, Charlotte.
All right, thank you.
And you'll want to put on some extra layers, especially now that we have some snow whipping around outside, and the wind chills are way down into the basement, 15 below we're talking.
Mary Jo Ola is on Madison's east side with a cold weather warning.
Good morning again, Charlotte and Robin. We're here at the Emergency Operations Center where officials of all kinds come together when we're on that extreme weather watch. Luckily, though, it's not activated just yet today. But with us this morning is Todd Pritchett with Wisconsin Emergency Management. So thanks for being with us.
Oh, thanks for having me.
And thanks for coming inside for this. But
good place to be right now.
That is for sure. But Todd, so this room is where a lot of agencies come together when there's severe weather. Do you guys ever come together for extreme cold? Is that a serious issue?
Yeah, sometimes it is if it's on top of other things, like if we have power outages and that kind of thing. This is a great operations center to coordinate all the state efforts from all the different agencies, public and private industry, volunteer groups, that kind of stuff. So when there's a crisis in Wisconsin, we all get together here and figure out how we can help people.
And luckily that's not going on right now.
Yeah, right now it's really trying to get the word out that this cold can be really serious. I mean, when we start talking 15, 20 below zero, that's the time where your health is at risk. So, making sure you're limiting your exposure to the outdoors, bundling up, obviously, just, doing some common sense things.
And what is, cold is nothing new to Wisconsin. What is a common mistake maybe you see natives to Wisconsin make every year.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You know, we're hardy folks, right? But sometimes we're just not ready for this stuff. And I think one of the key things is being ready in your car, because that's when you're really most vulnerable, right? You're out in the elements. If you get in an accident or something happens, you really need to have some survival gear, on board. So,
And you have some stuff right now?
Yeah, I usually just carry a little kit with me with just some basics, right? Like, I know jumper cables are a staple for Wisconsin, but, have a flashlight, a little first aid kit, some hand warmers, food, a little bit of food and water, and, just having some extra blankets. I always try to carry boots in my car because I'm never really wearing boots, from point A to point B. But, hey, if you got to get out of your car or you need to, stay warm, that's a great thing. And then a cell phone adapter, right? Something you can plug your cell phone in, get some power, and call for help if you need to.
Because really, you never know how long you're going to be out there.
Right, and it could be totally out of your control. You may be stuck in traffic. You may be in an area that's very isolated. You may be in a situation where there are lots of other people who are also in trouble, and it's just going to take first responders a while to get to you. So, yeah, having that survival gear could really save your life and save your passengers as well.
All right, well, Todd, thank you very much. Very good to know. And for you guys at home, we do have a few health tips on our screen there from Merida. They come to us saying that, you'll want to make sure that you don't stay outside too long. Obviously, dress warmly, dress in layers, and to check on, the young kids, babies, and elderly. Make sure that they're prepared to take on the cold, too, because it's going to be a few days here, Rob and Charlotte. And I was looking at Hattie's forecast. It looks like it's going to dip down a little lower than today, even.
Yep.
You're right.
Yep. Get used to this. Thanks, Mary Jo. Today is going to be bitterly cold.
Wind chills are expected to be as low as 15 below, and they will stick around for the next few days. Mary Jo, fortunately, is inside, not standing outside Wisconsin Emergency Management this morning with more on the cold and how to deal with it.
That's right, Robin Charlotte. We're inside here at the Emergency Operations Center. It's a room where agencies will come together and kind of, work together during severe weather, but luckily in this case, that's not happening this morning. So with us this morning is Todd Pritchett with Wisconsin Emergency Management. So thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having us here.
Well, Todd, obviously it's December, it's cold, but what's unusual about today's forecast and what we're going to be seeing in the next couple days?
Well, we're really watching out for what's going to be happening today, tomorrow, into Thursday. Really bitterly cold wind chills. So, the two biggest concerns, hypothermia and frostbite. And especially for, I think, two really vulnerable parts of our society, kids and pets, right? The kids, my 7-year-old runs out the door not wearing a hat or coat. Hey, stop, put on your gloves, put on your hat. Making sure they're bundled up, because obviously in the morning hours when kids are at the bus stop waiting for, you could be out there for 15, 20 minutes. That 20, 30-minute range, especially when we get to wind chills below, like 20 below, that's really the danger zone. So making sure they're bundled up. And then pets, obviously, you want to limit their exposure to the outdoors.
And then the 20 below is something we are expecting to see later this week. But you had mentioned earlier that, this kind of cold is unusual for this time of year.
Yeah, it's very unusual to be this cold this early in the season, and hopefully it's not a harbinger of things to come. Hopefully we will have, an extended period of time here. But, it's really looking like, the way the weather patterns are setting up, we don't really see any warmth coming our way. So, we've got some great tips on our website. People are looking for ideas on how to stay warm or different, tools that they can use. Ready Wisconsin, just go to our website. We've got lots of great ideas on how to stay safe and keep your family safe, and how to put an emergency kit together for your car and for your home too, because you never know in these weather conditions, if we start losing power or you're stuck out in the, in the traffic or in the cold, you may need some of this gear to, to stay safe and survive.
You never know how long you're going to be out there, so it's always good to have the jumper cables, extra food, something you might not think about on hand for when that does happen. So, Todd, thank you so much for being with us this morning, sharing all of that.
You're welcome. No problem.
And a few health tips for you during this cold weather, which we're going to keep seeing these next couple of days, are to, one, for starters, don't try and stay out as too long. Come inside when you need to get warm, as well as dress in layers, dress warmly, and as well check in on your on those kids, on babies, the elderly, and those pets. Don't forget about them, and make sure that they're all ready to stay warm these next few days. Robin Charlotte, it's going to be a tough one this week, to say the least.
Yep. All right, Mary Jo, thank you.